Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to you all.
Good morning. Good morning.
Empowering morning conversations. And today also we will follow the new format. So I'll start with my topic and the other things will follow. So let's talk about something which we keep hearing from people. How many of you heard somebody or the other telling you, "You are taking me for granted"? Have you heard this? Family members telling you, or your boss telling you, "You are taking things for granted." And it sounds very ominous, no? You are taking things for granted. You are taking me for granted. You better watch out. Sounds like that one, isn't it? So what is taking things for granted? What is taking someone for granted? Anybody can throw your light on it? Reddy Garu? When somebody tells you, "You're taking me for granted," what's your understanding about it?
My understanding is he thinks that he will listen to me whatever I say.
He thinks that you will listen to whatever they say.
No, other person will listen to me whatever I say. That my point of view will accept every point of view.
So what is taking someone for granted?
Yeah, that's what exactly, sir. He accepts my point of view without any resistance.
You are expecting that.
Yes, sir.
So you're taking that person for granted.
Yeah.
So that my so-and-so is dear to me, so they have to, whatever I say.
Yes.
You're taking it for granted. Okay, I got it. Thank you very much. Somebody else?
Yeah, but it can be also 100% confidence. The 100 taking for granted sounds little sarcastic, but it is also 100% confidence कि हम जो बता रहे वैसे everybody will, the other person will agree to it.
Yes. So that's different, right? That is, you are thinking that I'm taking them for granted, so I have confidence that whatever I say, I'm asking you. That's very good, Reddy Garu. Reddy Garu has explained about his understanding, which is also correct, and your understanding also, which is correct. However, when people say to you that you're taking me for granted, what does that mean? You think they're happy?
I do not have my opinion. Whatever is said it is the same thing. It's like a martial law. It is like a martial law.
मतलब तुम्हारे सामने मेरा कुछ नहीं चलता है, मुझे सुनना ही पड़ेगा. Is that what you say?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, very nice.
So the other person thinks that he should have been consulted or should have been part of the decision making.
Without asking me, you are taking decisions and you're taking me for granted.
Yeah, something like that. So they think that some inclusion would have been better for better implementation of that thing which has been decided.
Got it. So you're not included. Okay, Neeti ji.
So
Neeti, not you, Kasa. Wait.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
So putting the same thing in a slightly different perspective, where I, if talking about myself, if I do that, it would be I am taking decisions for another person and expecting that they will accept my decisions gracefully.
Okay. So I'm asking you.
It's a very subtle way of taking over somebody's life or somebody's work and expecting them not to have a voice in it, except expecting them to be okay with it.
So that means if somebody says to you, somebody's telling you, Neeti, you are taking me for granted. Yeah?
Means I'm taking some decisions. I'm announcing certain decisions on that person. And I don't expect them to have a difference of opinion with it.
Okay, so whatever I say goes. I am Venkatesh ji Good morning to you. I'm waiting for your photo of good food for today.
According to me, taking me for granted is saying something like thanking not enough.
Meaning?
Not acknowledging, not thanking them enough.
Not appreciating, not thanking. Okay, exactly. I got that. Exactly. All right.
Because they think that they should have been acknowledged properly.
Okay, maybe that's what they mean, yeah. And Vipanji?
Sir, when you give, what I feel when people start taking me for granted is I have given them so much of freedom that they stop asking me. And when they stop asking me, the level of freedom is disturbed. And at some point, I don't feel good also that it is not that extended. So I have to correct myself first, correcting that freedom given to the people so that I should be taken. I should be asked also for some reasons. It's not like that.
Okay. So if someone is saying to you, Vipanji, somebody is saying to you, okay, Vipanji, you are taking me for granted.
If someone is saying to me, you are taking, you should take me as granted.
No, you are taking me for granted.
So the same thing. I should feel that I'm taking overdose. I'm giving him an overdose. I'm taking him. If someone is saying me, I should correct myself and I should restrict my living his life on my way. And taking him as granted is not good. It's not a positive statement. It's something alert for me.
Okay, very nice. Thank you very much. Kasasai, and then after that, Gautamji.
So, from my point of view, is that when someone is not being respected enough, and when they don't feel appreciated for whatever their contribution, and with whatever they contribute, not acknowledging their contribution, these are my point of view being taken for granted. They think like it's someone's mandate to do something and not being respectful about it.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much. Yes, Gautamji.
Yes, it is a Indian management culture that is, they take the granted of the junior. They think that is whatever the senior will tell them, he has to obey and follow.
Okay. So let's look at our life. Are we taking things for granted? Are we taking people for granted? Now, one thing, which we never said, nobody said it, so I don't know. So suppose someone says, granted, what should you do? If somebody told you, okay, bhai, you are taking me for granted, what should you do? What should be your response to it?
First thing will be to apologize.
Okay.
Because I have come across stages where I have hurt someone without knowingly. It is not intentional, but I accept. I said, yeah, I should have consulted you, or I shouldn't have done this. I thought I have taken too much of, freedom. So I think it's better to apologize and say that it was not done intentionally, so then the other person would understand. Rather than straight away saying, aisa nahi hai, these things happen in love and relationship. But I think sometimes we tend to take people for granted without realizing that. So then if that is the case, if some other person is pointing out, I think you need to apologize and say that it has been done intentionally and ensure that you don't redo that.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing it. But I want to ask you a question. If somebody says to you that you're taking them for granted, it's a good idea to start by saying that, listen, I'm sorry if I've been taking you for granted. Right? And I want...
Obviously.
Say again?
Obviously.
Obviously?
I'm taking you for granted. Obviously, I'm taking you for granted. You should understand I'm taking you for granted.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because the situation is such that the other person feels I have to do what I'm being told. It's understood. It could be the other way.
Okay. So step number one, like Shantalji said, apologize. So obviously, when somebody is feeling very happy with you and they are celebrating things, they are not going to come and tell you, okay, listen, you're taking me for granted. So they are obviously upset, isn't it? It sounds more like a complaint to me. So immediately they say that, you say, okay, I'm sorry. But the next thing is more important. Right? See, one of the very easy things to do for us is to say sorry. It's a formula for a lot of people. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So a lot of times we'll say, I'm sorry, even without going deep into it. But you want to make sure it doesn't happen again. Huh? If somebody says to me, you're taking me for granted, it's a very, very big warning signal. Why do you think it's a warning signal? I'm saying if somebody says that to you, it's a warning signal.
Because in a relationship, trust, allowance, and gratitude is important. And when the other person doesn't feel it, the key pillar of relationship is, diluted. So,
yeah, because they are not feeling respected, they are not feeling honored. Okay, very nice. Thank you very much. Yes, Reddy Garu. Why is it a warning signal?
It is going to spoil the relationship.
Yeah. Sometimes, the relationship has got spoiled so much, then they come and tell you, hey, listen, you're taking me for granted. Right? And in those situations, you will see the symptoms. They start taking you for granted also. So it's a warning signal, all right. It's a warning signal that you are becoming distant from each other. Right? Now you are maintaining a comfortable distance between you and them. Strangers in the same house. Yes, Abhinav.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I've been trying to think your original question. What is the meaning of taking for granted? See, because husband wife can also say to each other, "You're taking me for granted."
Yeah.
Parents and children can also say, and and last time I used this word, "You are taking me for granted," was this is something I told my boss. You're taking the because the increments were not good, so I told him that you're taking the staff for granted. I actually told him. So he says, okay, fine. In case someone wants to leave, they are free to leave. And now a very talented person left and the company is unable to find a replacement. So it's a very huge warning signal. If someone uses the word, you are taking me for granted or you're taking others for granted, it's a huge, huge, huge warning signal. And action should be taken on it.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Yes, Anjana ji.
Yeah.
Good morning to you. After Anjana, first Anjana, go ahead, Anjana.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So I think the one warning signal, and it is that we need to change our behavior or something in that situation so that they feel more included in whatever we do.
Very nice. It's a warning signal. Like you better wake up, no? Something is going wrong here.
It's a wake-up call.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing. Yes, Neeti.
Yes, sir. So it's a situation where one party goes into an expectation mode and the other party goes into a resistance mode. So it's a covert situation where the interferers kick in without our really realizing what's happening within us.
What is it a warning signal for? That's my question. It's warning you about something.
It is the default mode of thinking and dealing with people where the attachment and the expectation from the attachment from the expectation is far higher than the relationship, the communication, the saving that relationship.
So it's a warning signal for warning you about what?
It's a warning signal for both parties, I think.
Yeah, for what? What is it is warning you about what?
Incomplete communication.
Okay. So there is a breakdown in communication. That's the warning signal. All right. Very nice. Thank you very much. Have I left out anybody? So if somebody says to you, you're taking me for granted, you better wake up, Maybe you can ask them, what happened? What do you expect from me that I'm not doing? Perhaps it's good to ask yourself first, And I'll tell you something, when you stop paying attention to people, when you stop paying attention to their needs and their desires, right? When you don't feel it necessary to ask them what they want, and you just take arbitrary decisions based on what you like, all these things. And it's not going to help you in relationship for sure. Okay. So my request for the day is, ladies and gentlemen, even if somebody never said to you, even if they never said you are taking me for granted, check and see, are you taking someone for granted? Are you taking something for granted? We take our body for granted. We take our body for granted. Do whatever you like. Body is there to serve us, no? If you take your body for granted, very soon your body will tell you, no? By falling sick. If you take your car for granted, simple language. If you are not giving sufficient attention to something or someone in your life, if you pay attention to those people, you will know what they need. Are you giving importance to someone? Importance, you understand? If somebody is important for you, you will take care of it. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that we make is we assume that we are taking care. Somebody is unmuted. Please mute yourself, Ashok ji. See, if you are not giving importance to something in your life, anything, what do you think you will get back in return? The law of nature is, as you give, so shall you receive. Okay. So my assignment for you today is identify all those people and all those things in your life which you are taking for granted. And please take one action to give that attention to those things. Will you do that? So please close your eyes and visualize all those people whom you're taking for granted. Visualize all the things that you're taking for granted. And what action are you going to take about it today? So let that be our purpose, to give enough attention to those people and those things that form a very important part of our life. Okay, if you're not paying attention to your body, please start doing so. If you're not paying attention to anything or anyone, see, a lot of times our attention is only on my own suffering and my own thing, what's happening to me, not to other people. So see what you can do about it. All right. Now, who's going to do the hand exercises today? Preeti ji, aap karengi? You'll do those brain exercises?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Priya is going to do it, I think.
Okay, sure.
Yes, Priya will do.
No, please, Neeti ma'am को करने दो ना.
अच्छा, चलो नीति मैम को करने देते.
Thank you.
Let her lead today, sir.
I know, but now she's saying नीति मैम को करने दो. So नीति मैम आप करिए.
चलिए कल प्रिया करेगी पक्का से.
हाँ.
Okay. Let's all get into the position. And we'll do each exercise with the count of 10. First is the fist pointing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the thumb of one hand and the little finger of the other hand. Yes, and we alternate it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Now let's do the victory and the pistol. Wrist facing the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now let the spider climb up. Close your other 3 fingers. Just keep your index and middle finger open and have the spider climb up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. Now let's do the elephant exercise. In the elephant exercise, make sure that you slightly pinch the tip of your nose and slightly pinch the edge of your ear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, arms straight. Turn your palms outwards, cross them, lock them, and bring them close to your chest. And open each finger once, starting with the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly unlock your hands and just rub your palms once. Get the circulation back. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, do we have a 7-minute speaker today? Or anybody who wants to address us for 7 minutes, any one of the participants? Okay, Babu, you would raise your hand, so you can do that.
No, sir, I did not raise my hand today.
Why don't you share one of your, experiences in the army, which taught you something which you can never forget? Sir. Can you do that?
Right. So it goes back to 2002 when I got commissioned. And that time, due to the parliament attack, we were deployed for our Parakram when the whole of Indian Army was on the borders for the war, which never took place. So we were in the Badmer sector and we were deployed in a desert sector along with the border. And I was just young out of the training academy. I was a
second lieutenant.
Lieutenant. And I was called by the adjutant, who is overall in charge for the everything in the battalion. And he told me to go in for a recce. Vehicle
reconnaissance
operation, and he gave me a location. So the men take instructions from you, but I had very less or rather no experience. But यही होता है कि साहब को पता है. So it was a vehicle based reconnaissance, and I gave the instruction, okay, we have to go tonight, and we started off at around 1:30, sir, in the night. And incidentally, what happened, the place which he had told to recce, there were 2-3 similar names. So we went towards the border. I was to go away from the border, and we went towards the border and along. We missed our route, and so it was all hot up that times, and there were lot many calls going into the battalion that there was something going on, and we went around all over the places and came back next. So everybody was looking very upset, and I went to report to the adjutant next day morning during the for a feedback or debriefing. So he said, "Where had you gone?" I said, "Sir, I had gone to this place." "What did you find?" "Full of sand, sir, nothing." So he said, "Gadi Bagar, you have been just born in the battalion, and you know where had you gone?" He said, "You are roaming around in the FDM, that is a defensive minefield,
Oh,
and
bloody hell.
you don't know that you have not only endangered your life but your men's life too." So
So
that was the day.
what was the learning?
So the learning was that one should fully get into the detail. There should be eye for detail, and one should not take things for granted and
Exactly.
take it lightly.
Don't take it for granted that you understood the instructions that was given to you.
Yes, sir.
Correct. You
One
took
more,
it for granted. You understood where you are supposed to go.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. One more incident, sir. Relatively, this was just before that 15 days. I got commissioned, and within 1 week there was a communication exercise. And I was told that okay, take a vehicle and take that recce people and go for the exercise. Initially, one doesn't know, because when one is coming out of the academy, so everything happens with a picture perfect and correct time frame in the academy. They say something and it is coming out from there. There is a demonstration, and the instructor is saying something, and there are people coming out. So you feel that in army you tell and it happens.
Yeah,
You
exactly
are
the way
going
you
with that
think.
mindset. सब हो जाता है, आपको सिर्फ बोलना पड़ता है, and बोलना भी नहीं पड़ता. That is the mindset when you go to the academy. So I had to go for a communication exercise. I was told by the adjutant. I said, okay, fine. My CEO was leaving. He was going on relinquishing that command. So party sharty happened. Bada khana happened. We got up in the morning. Chalo, chalo. And he went off, sir. It was a 3 days communication exercise. We were into the desert. Single point. We had self-contained for ration. And suddenly we had to communicate. It was a communication exercise. So when we were establishing the mast, so the signalman says that, sir, वो साहब वो कुछ छोटा सा चीज रह गया. मैंने कहा क्या रह गया? बोला टावर तो है, बट ऊपर जो ट्रांसपॉन्डर होता है जिससे कम्युनिकेशन होता है वो नहीं लाए.
वही नहीं लाए.
वो नहीं लाए तो तुम कम्युनिकेट कैसे करोगे? देन किसी और का लिया. उसके बदले हम लोग पेड़ पे चढ़े. जो भी ढानी था, 2 स्टोरी था, कहीं पे गलती से उस पे चढ़े, फिर कम्युनिकेट किया सर. फिर और आगे जाना था तो बोला साहब मैप खत्म हो गया.
मैप खत्म हो
लेके, हाँ, मैप आधा ही लेके. तो मैंने कहा यार ना मैप है ना रेडियो कम्युनिकेशन है, तो उसी वो सेइंग कि तुम लोग आए किस लिए हो, तुम जाओ घर जाओ. That was one learning, sir, wherein though we innovated many things, we did not have charger, we charged with villagers solar charger. We did navigation, though we like able to, but then that was a learning in 1 week or 2 weeks of my going into the battalion, which taught me that it doesn't happen कि आपने बोल दिया, आपने सोच लिया और हो जाएगा. It always, you have to get into the detail, you have to check the equipment, you have to lay it out, and you have to instruct people, you have to rehearse it, you have to make them rehearse, you have to rehearse yourself, make a checklist, and then go into the details. So these things I have taught, like in the initial stages, it happens with everybody.
Yeah, again, it's saying what? Don't take things for granted that it will happen the way I desire. Beautiful.
So, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll have some interesting story to tell also. Yeah, go ahead, Shantil.
So yeah, again, great, Babu. So this reminds me of when I went to the academy as a young lieutenant. I did the same. You know, I took men for granted, but that was on a very serious note. I went for a night duty check. It was around 2 o'clock in the morning. Just 1 week into the unit, I went for the night check, and I saw one light machine gun, LMG, one light machine gun was in the post, but it was not being manned. The guard has gone to wake up the other guy to come and change the shift. So I just saw this. I just took the weapon and I went to my tent. Okay. Actually, they're not supposed to leave the weapon, right? So I took it and I went to my tent, and there was a whole halagulla in the regiment ki ek LMG gayab hai. You know, one machine gun is missing is a big thing. You know,
Yeah, obviously.
yeah, CO se leke sabka hawa ut gaya tha. So next day, but they appreciated me. Officers a lot appreciated me. Ki, "ठीक है, तूने ठीक किया, bloody you should teach them a lesson." But मैंने जो lesson जो teach किया ना, that I did a wrong thing, because I was in that academy mentality. मैंने क्या किया? पूरा my company of battery, we call it in the artillery. My battery means it's a unit of 150 people. सबको जमा किया, सबको fall in किया, and I called this bugger who left that gun. And उसको मैंने बोला कि तुमने गद्दारी किया. In many words, I scolded him like anything, like the way we used to be treated in the academy by our
Instructors.
If we had done that in the academy, whole academy of 500 of us would have been rogered like anything for 15 days at least. But so here I thought I'm giving a meager, just a reprimand in front of the people, and then मैंने उसको डांट वूट के उसको दे दिया weapon. उसके बाद that chap came to my tent and he said, "साहब एक चीज बताओ." मैं बोला हाँ बताओ. He started crying. He had put in 10 years of service in the regiment, and he said कि साहब आप मेरे को अकेला बुला के 2-4 थप्पड़ मार देते मेरे को ठीक था, मगर आपने मेरा पूरा बेइज्जती कर दिया in front of the entire battery. अब मैं क्या मुंह दिखाऊं? Then I felt कि यार मैंने क्या किया. So you should have to keep that in mind कि you cannot humiliate a person in front, even though it is a big grave mistake. It doesn't warrant कि आप सबका सामने उसका इज्जत उतारना, क्योंकि इज्जत नाम नमक निशान, that is what we learn in the army. So for them इज्जत, that two unit का इज्जत सबसे ज्यादा बड़ा होता है, even देश से भी ज्यादा. But for him, that unit, that family is the topmost thing, right? So I understood that in the very first thing, and I apologized to him. I said कि यार मैंने ये सोचा नहीं था, मैंने सीधा मेरा एकेडमी वाला तौर तरीके से तेरे को डांट दिया, और मैंने सोचा कि तेरे को बहुत कम डांटा मैंने, बट अभी मेरे को समझ में आया मैं आगे से ऐसा नहीं करूंगा. Then so it's very, you have to learn. So in the army we say like, just because you put in the 2 stars, it doesn't mean that you can just throw your weight around. So our seniors also teach us that you have to earn your respect. It's not just putting the shoulders, you have to earn your respect. The men will judge you. They will respect you. They will straight away whatever you tell, they will do it. They obey you, but they start respecting you the day they realize that you are better than them, you care for them, right, for their safety. So many such lessons. I have so many such stories, so ek karke batayenge.
Great, thank you very much. Hanji, Bipin ji.
Sir, something popped in my mind on the previous story told by sir, that जो taking for granted का एक questionnaire है मेरे mind में, कि if you have to ask someone to do some work for you, and if you're taking him for granted, put certain questions in sequence. Can you do it? Means, are you capable of doing it? अगला question है, will you do it? करना तो आता है, लेकिन करोगे क्या? मतलब available हो उसको करने के लिए. तीसरा क्वेश्चन आया, when will you do it? कब कर दोगे? और चौथा क्वेश्चन है, how will you do it? Because he is thinking he will do it, but resources may not be sufficient. He may need your support also. These 4 questions are golden questions for asking someone before taking him for granted.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, Kasa Sai.
Sir, with what Mr. Babu said, I was also thinking something in the similar line. See, when we have our vision, which is like a map, even if our mobile, it is like the situation or resource might not be in support to us. Once we are very sure of where we want to go, whatever be the situation, whatever the a resource that we have. In spite of all the odds, we will find a way to reach there, sir. That is the power of, the desire that we desire. So,
Right.
thank you.
We know now. Yes, Kuldeep ji.
Small thing on
Little loud, sir.
Can you hear me now? Am I
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
That we should not take anything for granted. There's one thing in a warship, the instruction is given by the captain to move a ship. And moving even 1 degree here and there in wartime can be catastrophic. This should be exactly the same with the instrument. And ship is moved by a person who is down below at the engine room, known as quartermaster. So now at this technical advanced age also, the instructions from the bridge, that is the topmost position, are given by a voice pipe, not by an electronic machine, because that cannot be done to voice pipe. And when the instructions are given, for example, if captain says 2 degrees port means left, the down below person has to repeat the same sentence. It's a 2 degrees port, sir. So that captain knows that he understood the instruction which is given to us. And then he moves. So always instructions which is given to him are repeated every time when he speaks, just to ensure that he understands what has been told.
Beautiful. Now for some shairi, sir.
शायरी कहते हैं कि कभी कभी मजबूत हाथों से पकड़ी हुई उंगलियां भी छूट जाती हैं। कभी कभी मजबूत हाथों से पकड़ी हुई उंगलियां भी छूट जाती हैं, क्योंकि रिश्ते ताकत से नहीं दिल से निभाएगा।
वाह वाह वाह, फैंटास्टिक। कभी कभी मजबूत हाथों से उंगलियां पकड़ी हुई भी छूट जाती हैं। एंड व्हाट्स द नेक्स्ट पार्ट?
क्योंकि रिश्ते ताकत से नहीं दिल से निभाए जाते हैं।
हाँ, क्योंकि रिश्ते ताकत से नहीं दिल से निभाए जाते हैं। वाह। Sometimes the fingers held even by the strongest hands may, let go. The important thing is relationships are not built by strength, but by the heart. Thank you so much, sir. Kamal ji.
Yes, sir.
Kunan seems to be missing today. Is Kunan around with three?
No, sir.
Acha, okay, very nice. Okay, Kamal.
Okay. एक और चीज मैं सोचता था, taken for granted में again the judgment also will come ना, क्योंकि we judge and that's why we think we are expecting that okay then we will be agreed with my decision.
It's a kind of judgment ना, ये कहाँ जाएंगे?
हाँ, ये भी मान ही लेंगे,
हम मान ही लेंगे,
इनको पूछने की क्या जरूरत है?
Exactly, those are all judgments only, no?
हाँ, तो okay, रही शायरी के बाद तो एक शायरी है कि जिंदगी ने मेरे मर्ज का एक कारगर इलाज बताया।
अरे बाप रे, मेरे मर्ज का कारगर इलाज बताया।
यस, जिंदगी ने मेरे मर्ज का एक कारगर इलाज बताया, वक्त को दवा कहा और ख्वाहिशों को परहेज बताया।
I think you should translate it. It's a very nice one.
Yeah, too good, too good.
Well, Asina ji will translate it.
I don't know. Let's try.
Yeah, say it again, word line by line.
Okay, one line by line.
Okay. जिंदगी ने मेरे मर्ज का एक कारगर इलाज बताया।
The life has shown me the way of healing myself.
Yes. वक्त को दवा कहा और ख्वाहिशों को परहेज बताया।
That period was called medicine and desire.
No.
Desire.
Restraint.
No. I can't get it.
Yeah, फिर से
Get the
बोलो
second
last
line
line.
again.
Okay, वक्त को दवा कहा और ख्वाहिशों को परहेज बताया.
Okay. They said that time is the medicine and aspirations, desires to be restrained. Yeah.
Desire to be restrained. Yeah.
So that's the medicine. Wow. Kya baat hai.
But very
Abhinav.
nice.
Yes. Abhinav, you have a shairi?
No, I have a question, Sukhdeepak, if you allow me.
शायरी के बाद ये सब मत पूछा करो यार. Anyway, पूछ लो. बता देते.
चाहे आंसर आप कल दे देना.
नहीं
क्वेश्चन ये है कि कि सॉरी 1 मिनट देना मुझे कि आई रिमेम्बर मुनीश वर्मा, मुनीश वर्मा ना, वो रोज अपने मैं ऑलमोस्ट एक टाइम तक काफी उससे मिलता था उसके घर पे भी जाके.
अरे यार आगे बढ़ गए.
So he used to every day go to his father and ask the question, Papa, is there anything you want me to do? Something I need to take care? And thus he, because now what I get presented to, I'm getting today is that I'm taking so many people, my father, my wife, my daughter, my sisters, people in my office, my neighbors, you, everybody, I'm taking everybody for granted. कि मैं कुछ करूँ ना करूँ, Sukhdeepak will always come in and do the program in the morning, right? The training in the morning. But I don't have the guts to go and ask people that, what should I do? Is there anything I need to do for you? Is there anything you want me to do? Because what they will say, I may not be able to handle it. So what should I do?
Nothing. You give up your self-doubt na, thoda generosity paida karo. How is it possible that a man who is generous also is not generous? You are a generous person, I know you.
Yeah.
But you are afraid that somebody may ask you to be generous.
Or somebody may ask me for something which I cannot provide.
No, वो तो एक आपकी assumption है ना. What is that something that you can't provide? Nobody will ask you for anything you cannot provide. If they ask you, you say no. So I tell you, Abhinav, यार तुम बड़े loyal आदमी हो ना, अपना हाथ काट के दे दो. बोलूंगा मैं.
नहीं वो तो नहीं बोलोगे.
मैं बोलूंगा अपनी ग्रेटर नोएडा की कोठी मेरे नाम कर दे. नहीं बोलूंगा ना.
ना.
मैं बोलूंगा कि 10 लाख का चेक काट के दे दे. नहीं बोलूंगा.
Right. Yeah, but Sukhdeepak, one thing which I deal with all the times is that people have such high expectations and I'm unable to do anything about it.
Yes, you don't trust yourself. You don't trust people. That's what I'm getting. Are you trusting yourself? That you are capable, able? Why? What have you done that you don't trust yourself? It's a good question to ask, no? Who is that person who cannot trust himself? Life में क्या करता है जिसकी वजह से उसको खुद पे एतबार नहीं है? Think about it. Maybe we can talk about it tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I know you are capable. You have done so many things for so many people. Right? And you don't trust yourself. Interesting, ना?
Yeah.
मुझे खुद पे भरोसा नहीं है कि मैं कर पाऊंगा या नहीं. तो वो क्यों है ऐसा? वो सोचने की बात है ना कि मुझे खुद पर एतबार क्यों नहीं है. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I invite you to look forward to creating your day and be with one question: what can I add to my life today that will allow me to have a future that I desire? जो भविष्य मैं चाहता हूं उसको पूरा करने के लिए आज एक क्या चीज मैं नई कर सकता हूं. Be in that thought, go forth, have a wonderful day, and wonderful to be with all of you on this fine morning. I want to ask you one question. I want to ask you for a contribution. Are you willing to make that contribution?
Yes.
Okay, then how can you make sure that we have 50 people on this empowering morning conversation every morning instead of 25, 26? Yeah. So ask yourself this question: what can I do? What energy, space, and consciousness can I be to contribute this empowering morning conversation to at least 2 other people in my life. Okay, somebody shared with you, that's why you're here. Yes, Captain Sir.
Just one suggestion. See, when I'm forwarding these invites, I realized that many people miss out thinking that this is already over because the date is still showing us March 1st, 7 a.m. So, Vetri, इसमें ना, we have to make it as every day. वो invite जो आता है ना, उसमें time, if you see, it shows March 1st करके दिखा रहा है.
See, that invite which comes, it always comes for the next day.
Correct, sir. But I am forwarding to somebody. They miss saying that कि ये तो हो गया already. March 1st दिख रहा है ना. तो उसमें we should say every day 7 a.m.
Okay, then I will give you another poster, right, about empowering morning conversations, which you can share that every morning. So and so. I will make a poster and give it to you all. It will come in the group. You can share that one.
It will have a link also, right? It will have.
But see, the link will change, no? I mean, the link will be there. I mean, normally a link lasts for about a month. Yeah, it will have a link on it. I will put a link on it.
WhatsApp invite link will be there.
Yeah. No, we can actually invite them to the WhatsApp group also. If you want to be a part of empowering morning conversations, which happen every morning at 7 a.m., join the group. You can do that also. So we'll do both. Very good. Yes, Vetrivel. 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 Okay,
Sir,
anybody else?
It's a right time.
It's a right time for what? We are not able to hear you, Vetrivel. Anyway, so I put that thing, you think about it. All right. If you have any ideas, you can share it in the EMC Share and Retreat group. So thank you very much and looking forward to see you tomorrow morning for another wonderful empowering morning conversation.